Before we begin, I would like to make a disclaimer. All the information I'm about to share is publicly accessible knowledge. I will not be using any copyrighted material, and while I will be discussing the leaks, I will not be spoiling the game. And with that out of the way, let's take a look at the red flags that have popped up around The Last of Us Part 2. The first game was very successful. It enjoyed fan and critical acclaim alike. It featured interesting characters, a good story, and gameplay. And it seems that a sequel was inevitable. However, recent revelations about the sequel appear to hint that it will not live up to its predecessor. Jonathan Cooper, a seasoned animator from the gaming industry, having worked on projects such as the Mass Effect series, Assassin's Creed 3, Uncharted 4, and The Last of Us Part 2, had some interesting things to say about Naughty Dog's corporate culture when he left the company. Apparently, Naughty Dog has a very high employee turnover rate, which means that people are constantly leaving the studio and new people are coming in. Now that can be a sign for several different things, and none of them are good. It can be a sign of a toxic work environment, bad treatment towards employees, a bad project, and people rarely stick around in an environment like that. It can also be a sign of bad management, and it's no secret that it takes only a few people in key positions to make a good project into a bad one. And the side effect of the constant turnover that cannot be overlooked is that the new people that are coming in mid-project rarely know what to do or even where to begin, which can lead to delays and a lot of other problems. The next red flag came in the form of an interview with voice actor Troy Baker, who cautions The Last of Us 2 players to be open-minded. In a part of the interview, Baker notes, "I don't know whether people are going to like it or they're going to hate it, but they definitely will not be ambivalent about it." An interesting choice of words, and alone they might not mean much, but given the context of the spoilers, they may be a low-key warning. Not unlike the low-key warnings that Luke Skywalker actor Mark Hamill was giving before the premiere of The Last Jedi. And this is not the last Star Wars comparison I will be making in this video. The next red flag is from another person involved in the project. His name is Neil Druckmann. He is also a seasoned gameplay developer whose earliest credits go as far back as 2004, and he is the creative director and lead co-writer on The Last of Us Part 2. He's also a regular advocate for gender equality in video games, citing Anita Sarkeesian as an influence. For most gamers who are aware of who Anita Sarkeesian is, even the mention of her name is enough to invoke negative emotions, to say the least. If I had to sum her up in one sentence, it would be a snake oil salesman. But this video isn't about her, and I'm not going to let it devolve into one. Now, again, that alone in an isolated environment would not be a problem. However, given Druckmann's beliefs and the nature of the spoilers of the game, it would appear that he had a profound influence in the direction of the story, and he used his position as a lead writer and creative director to do so. And this would not be the first case of a high-profile executive using their position to push an ideology or a personal agenda, as is the case with Kathleen Kennedy and Star Wars. And these people have a tendency to surround themselves with like-minded individuals, lending further credibility to the toxic environment in Naughty Dog. And with that, I will segue into the next red flag, which is HBO's The Last of Us TV show, which will focus on climate change and come on! Apparently, and take this with a grain of salt, a source close to the production claims that the new show will be a darker and more divisive version of The Walking Dead, and that it will have a heavily female-focused plot, whatever that means, and that men, while some indirectly, will collectively play the part of the antagonist. Now, again, alone this would not be a big deal, but considering the spoilers, it sounds believable. And now comes the part with the spoilers and the leaks. And while I will not be showing or talking about any of them directly, I will address what they are. So if you're uncomfortable with that idea, skip along to the end or just bail out. Here's your obligatory possible spoiler warning, and with that, I'll move into this. The earliest spoilers were a rough summary of the game's plot, who lives, who dies, and who the antagonists are, which in this case will apparently be a homophobic Christian cult, because that's what people are worried about in a post-apocalyptic world full of fungus zombies. But I digress. They also showcased that the game is going to be heading into a specific ideological direction and agenda, and that it's not going to be subtle about it. And after that came the big one. Apparently, a disgruntled employee leaked gameplay footage and even more information. And considering Naughty Dog's reaction of taking down any and all footage online, it appears to confirm that these are real. Now again, all of these individually could mean nothing, but put together they appear to paint the picture that this is yet another IP that's going woke. And if the past few years are anything to go by, it doesn't look good for The Last of Us Part 2. And if these spoilers are true, I, for one, will certainly be passing on this game. And I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money, but I would advise you not to pre-order. Wait until the game is released, and wait until a reviewer you trust gives you feedback on the game. If you still think it's worth your money, then go ahead. And with that, I'm going to finish up this video. Let me know what you think about this whole situation. Will you be getting the game? Will you wait? Are you going to pass on it? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below, and if you like this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Have a good one.